In this video, I created a neutral, simple eye look. I'll explain the palettes that I used. What do you think? Are these the same palette? Are they different? They're both affordable. It is a little hard sitting in front of a camera and talking to it, so I was watching it and I was like, wow, I'm not as bubbly and outgoing as I usually am. So for some reason I decided to sit in front of the camera and be like, hey, keep watching because I'm not a bitch. I hope you like it. Subscribers, subscribe if you like it. That wasn't really the goal of this video. I really just want my friends and family to be able to enjoy playing with makeup. So I decided to choose two eyeshadow palettes that are affordable and you can create really simple, easy eye look. This is the NYX Ultimate palette, and this is called the Warm Neutrals. So when I think of someone telling me that they want something neutral, this is what I think of. So on this eye, I'm going to be showing you a look in the same exact look with basically the same colors. I'm going to be using the new Wet n Wild palette. They look fairly similar. Both drugstore varies in prices, but it's a lot different than buying a $42 palette. So if you don't want to drop $42 on a palette, you can get the $17.99 or the $4.99. And just because this is $4.99 does not mean that it is not good quality, because they just reformulated these, and honestly this is an amazing palette. Okay, so first, step one. You don't have to do this if you don't have concealer. It's totally fine, but if you do and if you're okay with the extra step, then this is one that I recommend to you. So what you're gonna wanna do, I already did it, just take this concealer, put it on your eyelid, and this will cancel out any redness, veins, just gives you a nice blank canvas. And then the next step is you want to set that cream product with a powder. And if you don't do that, when you go in with the eyeshadow, it's going to be a little sticky and it's not going to blend out as easy. For this eye, I chose this shade right here. It looks the same color as my eyelid. So I took that just enough to cover the eye in the cream and set it down so that when you mix powder to powder, it just makes it look a lot better. For the other eye and the Wet n Wild palette, I'm going to take this color right here and then pop it out on this eye. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so first you're going to want to go in with a blending brush, something that's fluffy like this. And the reason why you want to go in with a fluffy brush, you want to be able to blend it out so that it doesn't just look like a line, you know? So if you don't have one, I recommend this one. This is the Wet n Wild. Pretty sure this is called the blending brush. You'll see it in the store. It looks something like this. And this is only 99 cents. E.l.f has them too, so if you're going to the drugstore, I recommend getting either E.l.f or Wet n Wild. So the first shade I'm gonna go in with, it's called the transition color, and for a transition color just makes it easier to blend other eyeshadows together, if I am explaining that at all in a simple way. You want to choose something neutral, brown, a taupey color, something like that. I'm going to be taking this color right here. And the reason why, if you ever see people tap off their brushes, it's to get the excess powder off so it doesn't drop onto your face. A simple tip is if you have the mirror below you, because when you're looking down you can see the entire shape of your eyelid, but if you're putting it up like this, I can't really see the whole thing. Start in the outer corner, put your brush down, and you kind of want to go into circular motions. Do windshield wiper motions like that. And if you don't see a lot of color, that's good. You want to be able to go back in and kind of work your way up with the pigment of the color that you want. And do the same kind of thing. Start in the outer corner, work my way in. The crease is the crease of your eye, like right here. So when you close your eye, it's that kind of shape right there. And then you can kind of just, work it down onto your eyelid. If you just want something super simple, honestly, you could stop at that. You can add a wing liner, you can just add some mascara. It's something just a little bit more than nothing at all. I'm gonna take this shade over here. So it's nothing crazy. It's just a little something. You can just keep it at that, and you can just, you know, like I said, add some mascara. But if you want to do a little more, I would say the second step is to choose a little darker of a color, and we're gonna work that into the outer portion. It gives it a little extra something something and just makes it look really pretty, and I'll show you how. Take a brush that's fluffy but not as fluffy. This is the E.l.f Crease brush, so I'm gonna be using that. And the reason why I'm using that, because it's not as fluffy, it's gonna add a little more pigment because it's a little more dense. So the more dense a brush is, the more pigment it's gonna put onto your eye. I'm gonna take this kind of mauve-y maroon color, just focus it on the outer third. The first initial time you put the shadow onto your eye, you're giving it a little bit of an outline of where you want to continue putting the shadow down onto your eyelid. Looks good? You could do that. This is so simple. That was 2 colors. I chose the red. You could do a brown, an orange, literally any color. You could do this with any color combination, and it took 2 shadows. Simple, right? I'm gonna do it a little darker. Outer V. Windshield wiper motions. I like the look of that so far. So now I'm gonna do the Wet n Wild side. This one has a similar maroon burgundy kind of color. The same exact thing. Like I said, based on preference, you want to stop it there, and that's good for you. You can stop it there. Now for option number 3. So if you like a little more shimmer, it just adds a little pop. Gold is always my go-to. It's just the perfect shimmery color. It still keeps it neutral and pretty. You can choose a flat brush like this. This is the Wet n Wild's concealer brush. When something's small and dense, it'll really pack on the color. Your pinky works just as good, if not better, than a brush like this. So I'm gonna go in with the brush, take that gold color with your pinky. I don't know why, but sometimes just your finger works better. Just makes it a little extra pigmented. Like there is that sharp line between that burgundy color and the gold. You can go back in and just kind of slightly dust that color in between, which will blend them together. And you just created an awesome, cute, simple, neutral eye look. The Wet n Wild palette, I'm just gonna take my pinky with that one, and it's this shade right here. I think I got the same look. $14.99, $4.99. This is also optional. I just like doing this, but you don't have to. I'm gonna take that burgundy shade just a little bit, buffing it on the lower lash line. It just kind of makes everything go nicely together. Same exact thing with the Wet n Wild. So now we're almost done. All I'm gonna do is just pop on some mascara. Oh my god, I really like that. I'm just gonna recap it all up. Right eye, NYX, warm neutrals, $17.99. You can get this at Ulta. Wet n Wild, $4.99. Walgreens, yes, Walgreens, that's where I bought this. Option number 3 I didn't use, but if I could do this look with those, you can certainly get the same look with this. Anastasia, Beverly Hills. This is the Modern Renaissance palette, and it retails for $42. You can also pick this up at Ulta, Sephora, their website, and yeah. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. You can check out my other social media, basically just my Instagram page. That's where I've been posting on the most lately, but I really want to get into my YouTube channel So thank you so much to my friends, my family, my sisters for asking for my help. I watch so much YouTube that I forget. You know, there was a point when I didn't know much about makeup and there weren't that many videos out there that were just simple. They were just using all these words and I didn't know what they were. And I was like, what? Like, but what is contour? Like, I just don't get it. So I just thought I would do something simple and take it back and just play with makeup. That's what I like to do. So anyway, love you guys. Bye.